Hello everyone, it's Wasima. Welcome back to another episode of Khanfiguring Home, where I'm redoing my house with a budget of $5,000. In this episode, I'm upgrading my kitchen. My kitchen is all over the place and doesn't look cohesive at all. I want to do as many upgrades as I can within my budget. For this makeover, I'm going for a modern look. To be honest, I was loafing on this makeover. I started in July, didn't end up finishing it until September, and only edited my footage right now in December. So let me catch you up. I have $4,085 left within my budget, and let me show you what the plan is. This is the floor plan of my kitchen. It's about 13 feet by 10 feet. For this space, the colors that I'm going to go with are gray, white, black, and blue. I'm going to repaint my wooden cabinets to the color blue and swap out the handles to something more sleek. I also plan on changing the floors to the same floor I did in the hallways, and the next thing I want to do after that is get some new marble backsplash and install that to the wall. To be honest, we don't really need new appliances, but I still want a new range and fridge for my kitchen. This is my old fridge. I know people who know people who know people, so I was able to get this brand new fridge for $700. Also, quick note, I'm not counting this purchase towards the budget since my dad paid for it, and the $5,000 budget is from my own money. However, I did pay for this new range, and I got this for only a whopping $500. Of course, my mom is using my old clothes as rags. I'm starting off by redoing my backsplash. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of these tiles. I can't wait to get rid of them. My dad helped by scraping off the tiles and evening out the surface. I'm using this backsplash and adhesive to install everything onto the wall. I first dabbed a bunch of adhesive onto the wall, then I spread it with the trowel, and then after that, I placed the backsplash onto the adhesive with some spacers in between. When it comes to cutting marble tiles, you have to use a wet saw. You can't use a regular saw or else it'll crack. The water in the wet saw cools down the blade, which prevents the stone from cracking. You probably can't see what I'm doing, so let me show you a close-up. I use the yellow bar to adjust the length of the cut and then slide it through the blade. I really don't recommend cutting anything with one hand, but just for you guys, I had to. You have to push the marble into the blade slowly, or else if you force it, it'll crack, and we don't want our marble cracking. And ta-da! Here's a clean cut. Here you can watch me do the same thing over and over again until I cover the whole wall. I applied the adhesive on in sections because I didn't want it to dry out. You have to let the adhesive cure for 24 hours, and then once that's done, it's time to apply the grout. I then smothered the grout onto the backsplash and then wiped it with a damp sponge. I forgot to record the next part, but 24 hours after the grout has cured, I sealed it with the marble sealer, since marble is porous and any moisture it may come in contact with can cause mold or mildew. So make sure you do that as well. I'll show you how it turned out in a few minutes, but the next thing we're moving on to is the floors. I'm using the same vinyl planks I installed in my hallways. If you haven't seen my last video, I go into more detail on how to install the vinyl planks. It's not that hard once you get the hang of it, and I was able to do this pretty quickly. After I finished the floors, I moved on to the cabinets. These cabinets look pretty rough and dirty if you ask me. I feel like they're throwing the whole kitchen off, which is why I'm so excited to paint them. The only thing is, I can only paint the cabinets on this side of the kitchen since they're made out of wood, while the other cabinets on the other wall are made out of melamine. I'm also going to be painting the frame of this mirror. I grabbed some cabinet paint from Home Depot, then I started off by painting the crevices. Also, just an FYI, the finish on the cabinet paint is glossy so that it's easier to clean when there's a mess. As I was painting it, I noticed that the cabinet paint is pretty thin. I had to go over it 3 times, which, I'm not going to lie, was pretty time consuming. I think the blue looks way better than the white before. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I got these cabinet handles from Amazon. It was a pack of 25 for $32. I didn't forget about the mirror, I just quickly went over it with some black paint, which wasn't too hard to do. The next job that I took on was removing the wallpaper. Before I started anything, I had to take everything off the wall first. Let's take one last look of the wallpaper because you're never going to see it again. I thought taking off wallpaper would be so hard, but it wasn't too bad. All you gotta do is peel off the first layer, and then you have to spray it with some hot water, and then you just scrape everything off. It was very satisfying for me to rip off this wallpaper. This wallpaper has bothered me for so long since it looks very outdated. My dad never removed it because he thought it would be a very tedious job, but to my surprise, I would say anybody could do this. You could also use a steamer to soak the paper and peel it off as well. I know I probably should have used a mat or something to cover the floors so that there wouldn't be such a huge mess. I still cleaned everything up though, so don't worry. After I took off all the wallpaper, I taped off all the edges so that my dad could help me out by painting it white while I went on a little trip to Alberta. When I came back from Alberta, I decided to paint the rest of the walls. I wanted to paint it gray, but as I was painting it, I realized the gray is coming off bluish. I didn't want to start all over again, so I just stuck with it. I don't hate the color, but it's not exactly what I wanted. My parents liked it though, so I just left it as it is. Who knows, I might even change the paint color later on in my life. By the way, I didn't bother touching these stuff on the cabinet because my parents took their time to display all this stuff and I didn't want to get on their bad side by displaying something else, so I just left it. I'm coming back to this white wall because I decided to paint a cute quote on it. I don't know about you guys, but I only really like my mom's food. I don't really enjoy Indian food anywhere else if it's not my mom's. Sometimes my mom tries to trick me and give me food saying she cooked it, and as soon as I eat it, I'm like, yeah, you didn't cook this. So yeah, nothing beats my mom's food, and I'm sure everyone else would say the same thing about their own mom's food, which is why I painted this quote saying secret ingredient is Amma's love. Now it's time to show you how everything turned out. Here's a reminder of how it looked like before. I usually have someone to come over and get a reaction, but it's been 6 months since I started this and people already came over and I wasn't trying to fake a reaction. So here is how it turned out. Let's have a drum roll, please. I feel like the space already looks so much bigger and cohesive, and it's a huge improvement from what it was before. I'm pretty glad with how everything turned out. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts. I still feel like there's some upgrades I can do in the future, like continuing the backsplash behind the range and getting a new range hood, but since we're on a budget, I didn't want to spend more money than I already have. I got items from Amazon and Home Depot and spent a total of $998 for this kitchen makeover. I originally had $4,085 left in my budget, and from this reno, I now have $3,087 left from my $5,000 budget. I still have 3 more rooms to renovate in this house: the living room, powder room, and my bedroom. I'm basically done the living room, but I'm still waiting to get my couches that are set to be delivered in January or February. In the meanwhile, I'll start on either the bathroom or my room. And thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe.